Good morning, you guys. It is early. This is Liz James. You haven't met me in person yet. I am sorry that it's this early, and I know that a lot of you are not awake, but this is my world. This is my life. I live on a farm, and I also work outside the home, so this is what we get. And you get me with two dogs that are trying to interrupt me right now. So, hang on. Go on. Go on. Anyway. It is morning. It is about 6:30, and we are going to talk about sleep as the sun is coming up. Sleep tips. I hope you've enjoyed this week so far. You've learned a lot. They say the early bird gets the worm. Some of y'all who are still asleep would say that the second mouse gets the cheese. So anyway, we'll see. Okay. Sleep is really important to me. I've spent several years of, wow, this is crazy. I've spent several years of my life struggling with sleep issues due to physiological conditions that have since been managed, but I literally went for 9 years getting up 7 or 8 times a night to go to the bathroom, and had zero REM sleep. I didn't have a dream. Gail, I know you're the opposite of that, but I didn't have a dream for 9 years because I never got a deep enough sleep. So I completely understand the sleep thing and how important it is. I'm going to talk about some tips today. We've talked about the physiological reasons for sleep or not getting enough sleep, but frankly, the majority of people, they don't get good sleep because they don't have good sleep habits. So that's what we're going to talk about. Also, the very core of good sleep depends on balanced neurotransmitters. Since up to 90% of serotonin, one of the crucial neurotransmitters for sleep, along with GABA, which is another neurotransmitter that's needed for sleep or good sleep, are produced in a healthy gut. That's where you should really start. If you're not taking Life 9, I would encourage you to do that. It's a Young Living supplement. And also get to a good gut health class. I teach a gut health class monthly online. You can find it on my blog, The Wellness Prepper. There is, but other people teach gut health classes too. You need to understand your gut and understand the importance it plays in your sleep. Secondly, look toward ways of calming your nervous system. The way our bodies work, you cannot be hyper and you cannot be calm at the same time. So you've got to figure out ways to make yourself calm and not excited when you're trying to sleep. You get one or the other, not both. Mattresses and pillows are very important. You wouldn't run a marathon or hike a mountain without the right gear. You can't sleep without the right gear too. If you're sleeping on a terrible mattress, that's probably a great reason why you're not getting good sleep, honestly. So we spend a quarter to a third of our life in bed. If this is not in your bucket list to get a good mattress, please consider doing so if it's affecting your sleep. The same with pillows. Not every pillow is created equal. I'm sorry, you guys. Some of you have kids. I've got dogs here. 92% of people say their mattress is extremely important for a good night's sleep. 10 to 20 minutes of sunlight a day is really important. That's how you get your vitamin D in. I talked about that a little bit last week or earlier this week in some of the stuff that I wrote. That's really, really important. Use your diffuser. Cedarwood, lavender, peace and calming, orange, frankincense. Find what works for you and use it. We're all built differently, and what may put you to sleep might not put me to sleep. What puts me to sleep might not put you to sleep. Let's see. Light. Get rid of your light. You need a dark space to actually sleep. Use white noise. Use an eye mask if you need to. If you have an environment where you have a lot of noise where you're trying to sleep, get earplugs. And you know, I hate the thought of any married people having to sleep in separate bedrooms because somebody snores. So try the earphones first. I think sleeping together when you're married is a healthy thing if you can at all do that. Let's see here. Clenching your teeth due to stress while sleeping. This is a pretty big problem. I had this problem and woke up frequently with extreme tension in my head and neck for a long time. I had it bad enough that I had to have dental intervention because of it. Valor on the toes, valor on the side of the face. 3 Wise Men is another blend that I've heard works very, very well for helping you relax your jaw at night. That's very important too. Sleep temperatures. Sleep temperatures, ideally, this could get expensive, but less than 70 degrees is considered the ideal sleep temperature. It's not a problem in the winter in most places, but in the summertime that can get pricey. I understand that. They do make cooling sheets now and other ways to cool your actual bed, cooling pads, that kind of thing. So if temperature is an issue for you, you might look into that. It's worth it. Let's see. Cool your hot flashes. So as we age, and we have body temperature fluctuations, whether you're hormonally challenged surgically or just because of your chronological age, body heat can cause sleep disturbances. Estro, which is another Young Living supplement, is a great product. I use it in the morning. It's recommended. You can use it a couple times a day if you need to. I put it in my Ningxia Red MindWise morning cocktail. I think that as we age, it's not something that's necessarily needed when you're younger, unless, again, you're extremely hormonally challenged. So know your body and know if you need it or not. EMFs. This is something that a lot of people don't think about. These are all the electrical fields and currents that are really surrounding us now, and they're very, very disruptive. So ideally, you don't want any electronic devices in the bedroom. If you have to have them in the bedroom, at least keep them away from your head. That includes your phone. They are extremely disruptive, and they disrupt the pineal gland. This is where melatonin and some serotonin is produced. So as we've talked earlier this week, both of those are so important as well. Grounding or earthing. That may be a new concept to you guys, and it may sound like kind of hippie or new age. It is not. There's so many scientific studies backing this. Positive electrons in the form of free radicals, we all know about free radicals, build up in our bodies, and direct contact with the ground, and I'm talking barefoot, on dirt, on sand, not with your shoes on, or with your hands. If you're in the garden in the dirt, this is good too. When you ground yourself, it balances out the negative. It balances out as a negative grounding charge, kind of like a grounding rod in electric situations. You know, if you have any electrical engineers out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you know, all of your plugs have grounding wires. We have frequencies too. We talk about that all the time in our oils. This is legit. The electricity we have in us is what runs us. It's what makes our cells move. But too much of it is very disruptive and affects healing, affects sleep, affects lots of things. So turn off the TV, iPad, phones an hour prior to bedtime, regardless of whether they're in the bedroom or not. And keep them out of the bedroom, like I said earlier. That is really important. I know many of you have phone or TVs in the bedroom or computers in the bedroom. Put them in a different room, use them in a different room, use your bed for what it's designed for. If your mind continues to race with thoughts, even worrisome thoughts, write them all down before you go to bed. Studies have shown that doing this helps calm the mind, getting them out of your mind onto the paper. Take an Epsom salt bath. Epsom salt's your magnesium. We talked about magnesium earlier this week. Add lavender, frankincense, sandalwood, your choice. Add whatever it takes, whatever it is that's calming for you, peace and calming, any of that. Get it in and on the Epsom salts, and then throw that in your bath water before you go to bed. Exercise, regular exercise earlier in the day, yoga, meditation, all of that. Your sleep superfoods, cherries, chamomile tea, a high-protein snack. A high-protein snack will boost the production of melatonin and serotonin. If you're a person of faith, and worries or fear or what are keeping you awake, lay them before God. I'm going to give Peter as an example. Peter, in his earlier years as an apostle, he had a lot of stress in his life, I think. And when there's a story about when Peter and Jesus and the apostles crossed the Sea of Galilee and a violent storm came up, and Peter went running to Jesus and said, wake up, we're all going to die. And, Jesus was sound asleep during the storm because he knew he was okay. And Jesus got up and calmed the storm. Well, later in Acts, you can read about this in Acts 12, later the same Peter, who now understood, and Jesus has gone at this point, and Peter is still going out spreading the gospel. And I'll just read this to you. The night before Herod was to bring him to trial, he's in prison. Peter was sleeping between two soldiers. How do you sleep between two soldiers in prison? And bound with chains, which I'm sure was horribly uncomfortable. And sentries stood guard at the entrance. Suddenly an angel of the Lord appeared, and a light shone in the cell. He struck Peter in the side. Peter was so sound asleep that the angel had to knock him on the side to wake him up. He has a peace that passes all understanding. I can't stress the importance of that enough. And I hope that you will lean on him to help you sleep at night. So, drink lots of water during the day. I'm moving on, by the way. Drink lots of water during the day, but taper off 3 hours before bedtime to limit nocturnal trips to the bathroom. Good morning, Terry. How are you? Avoid caffeine, especially after 12 noon. If you need low doses of caffeine and a little energy, use your Ningxia Nitro. It doesn't give you that high flash of energy with making it hard to sleep at night. I've been able to use it. I can probably use it up until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then that's enough for me. I wouldn't, if I used any later than that, it might not allow me to sleep at night. But caffeine also acts as a bladder stimulant. It also inhibits GABA, and like I said, GABA is the neurotransmitter, or one of the neurotransmitters that gives you that peaceful, easy feeling. So if you're feeling jittery, you might reflect back on the day and find out exactly when you had your last little dose of caffeine. Avoid alcohol right before bed. Everybody thinks alcohol is a sedative. It is, but it causes rebound insomnia. So that means you'll be more apt to wake up in the middle of the night and not be able to go back to sleep. You gotta, anyway, just watch that and understand that may be where it's coming from. A glass of wine every night is not necessarily a good thing for that reason. Avoid spicy foods for dinner. This spicy foods or large dinners aggravate reflux or GERD. Hey, Michelle, how are you? it's a little bit later over where you are. You want to eat your lightest meal at dinner time. There is a saying that says, for when you're eating, you should eat like a king for breakfast, a queen for lunch, and a pauper for dinner. And that means, eat large, eat well for breakfast, sustain your day, eat normally for lunch, and eat lightly for dinner so that you can sleep well. If you have reflux or you have issues like that, you may need to elevate the head of your bed just a little bit. You can do that. It doesn't even have to be a lot. Just a couple inches sometimes can make a huge difference. And you can also support your digestive system with digize and peppermint and lemon. If you have bloating or gas or sometimes that can happen. You can have some just kind of big stomach feeling. You might need to add in some essential zyme to help digest stuff that's not getting digested well. This is going to be a shocker for some people. I didn't realize this. Artificial sweeteners. I hope none of you are using artificial sweeteners. They are bad, bad, bad for you on many levels, but they can actually cause insomnia. Who knew that they could do that in addition to all the other things that they can do to cause harm? Know and avoid your inflammatory foods. Everybody has different foods that can provoke inflammation. Some of the more common ones include sugar, standard vegetable oil like your canola oil, which is GMO-laden corn oil stuff. I don't have enough bad things to say about it. I mean, I have a lot of bad things to say about it. I just don't have the time to say them all. Fried foods, refined flour. Get your einkorn products. That will help tremendously. Standard dairy. Those of you that know me well know that I am a huge raw milk advocate. It's why we have our own cows. This is terribly important. But standard dairy is the dairy you get at the grocery store. Does not cut it. It is a frankenfood, just the way our wheat is. Artificial sweeteners, in addition to causing insomnia, can cause inflammation. Artificial additives, saturated fats, conventional grain-fed meat, processed meats, gluten, again, too much alcohol, trans fat, fast foods, all that bad stuff. Okay. And that's especially important if you have pain or discomfort that's keeping you up at night. Inflammation is a huge reason that a lot of people cannot sleep. So manage your inflammation, starting with your diet. And that's about it. I've got to go feed and get off to work. I'm running behind a little bit already. Shell and Danette, thank you for having me this week and allowing me to talk about sleep. This is an important health commodity, and I hope you guys have learned something and that you have a great day and make it a great weekend too. Bye-bye.